Hello! I have had somewhere between 0 and many drinks, and inspired by that, I'm going to tell you the story of the first time I drank alcohol. Before I do that, hit the subscribe button because when somebody who has had between 0 and many drinks tells you to do something, you should do it. You can trust me because I have had between 0 and many drinks. This is actually date night for me and my wife, and how that usually goes is we have between 0 and many drinks, and then we fall asleep on the couch, or she falls asleep on the couch, and then I come in here to do work, and by do work I mean talk to you guys. It's a very slippery slope. Don't let your life turn into me. Whatever you do, get a real job. Don't be a comedy writer or a comedy talk at the camera guy, I guess is what I'm doing right now. I don't know. Whatever you do, don't be me. So the first time I had alcohol, believe it or not, I did not have a sip of alcohol until I was 21 years old. Not counting communion wine, because I'm Catholic, and that's not wine, it's the blood of Christ. Fun fact, if you get pulled over for a DUI, just tell the cop it's not wine, it's the blood of Christ, and he has to let you go. Or it's a violation of like religious freedom or something. I don't know. Disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. Maybe don't do that, like ever. Don't take legal advice from a guy who has had between 0 and many drinks. So I had a scholarship to college, and I didn't want to risk losing that. I don't think I really would have lost it if I would have got busted for an alcohol infraction because like the school really didn't have standards because, again, they gave me a scholarship. But for whatever reason, I waited till I was 21 to drink. I turned 21 during the summer. And so where did I go when I finally turned 21 and I could legally drink? I went to the one place I couldn't drink, and that was my college, because there were certain dorms you weren't supposed to have alcohol in over the summer. I had some buddies who were staying on campus over the summer to work these minimum wage summer jobs. I think really it was just a ploy for our cross-country coach to make them practice for our terrible team that lost everything. Because again, I was on this team, so clearly we were not very good. I mean, we weren't even okay. We were just bottom of the barrel. But here's the thing. It was a place to drink, so I went there. So it's like, all right, I'm going to go here to the one place on earth I can't drink. And I got there, and again, my friends were working minimum wage jobs, and they could not afford alcohol. So for my 21st birthday, I bought myself alcohol. I was not rich by any means. I was just not as poor as them because I had that scholarship I was afraid of losing. So I spent like $40 on alcohol. I went to the liquor store and gave the clerk my ID, and she must have spent like a solid 3 minutes looking at my ID. And it was from out of state because sometimes people go to colleges in different states they live in, which is not something they understood in this town. But she really stared that down, doing the math to figure out I turned 21 on that exact day. And finally, grudgingly, she let me buy alcohol for my own self-thrown party on my 21st birthday. So I forget what I bought. I think it was a bottle of Jägermeister. That was there for sure, and maybe a bottle of Captain Morgan. I don't even remember if that got opened. So we get this, and we go back to the dorm where we're not supposed to be drinking over the summer on this college campus. And one of my fellow teammates from the cross-country team hands me a bottle. And I take a giant swig out of it. And I make a horrifying discovery about alcohol. Alcohol tastes terrible. Nobody told me this. I assumed people drank alcohol because it tasted good. That is not how alcohol works. That is not how alcohol works at all. Then they tried something else. They gave me something. It was like 7 and 7, which is basically you mix 7 random alcohols together, which really just tasted like seven slightly different forms of alcohol mixed together. I mean, it was just a layered texture of garbage. Again, it was terrible. But I had never built up any kind of tolerance to alcohol, so alcohol was slowly becoming tolerable. Then we bonged some beers, which was okay because the beer did not hit my tongue. So hey, that's awesome. If you can eliminate taste from the equation, it's really easy to get liquored up. And then the night progressed. Again, we were hanging out, drinking the alcohol I paid for, which I was only slightly resentful about. And somewhere, deeper into the night, and again, For some reason, I lost track of time. Things become sketchy in here. There came a point in the night where I saw another buddy of mine take this bottle of Jägermeister that I bought and take a swig directly from the bottle. And in my mind, that meant there was only a tiny bit of it left. And I wasn't going to let him finish the bottle. I was going to take that last tiny little bit. So I grabbed the bottle out of his hand and I tipped it up and I gulped and I gulped and I gulped. And there were like at least 6 or 7 swigs of alcohol left in that bottle that I chugged all at once late in the evening. And I sat down and I thought, well, that was unexpected. And then I burped and I looked down in my hand and there was Jägermeister in my hand. And I thought, in my not sober mind, I thought, you know what I should do? I should get to a trash can because I am a responsible adult at 21 years old. So I ran out into the hall of this dorm I was not supposed to be drinking in, and I found a trash can. These were these giant square college trash cans. They were probably 4 feet high, and the openings were square, and they were 2 feet by 2 feet. It is the largest surface area for a trash can that you can find short of a dumpster. And I took my head, and I stuck my head all the way inside this trash can. Like, this was foolproof. I was practically inside this trash can, and I proceeded to spew everything that I had eaten in the last 6 months. And then I picked up my head, and somehow, in defiance of every law of physics, I missed the trash can. To this day, I have no idea how this happened. I replay the events in my mind, and I was practically inside that trash can. But no, there was puke everywhere. So, the RA in this summer dorm, who was, you know, when you're an RA in a dorm over the summer where only 4 people are living, it's just a paycheck. I mean, it's the easiest job in the world. He came out, and it's the easiest job in the world until some guy who just turned 21 decides to have his first drink in the one place he can't have that drink. It turns out that it was my buddy, another buddy. I use that term loosely. This guy is now the godparent of my first child. He's coming over tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, he stuck with me through all this. But he came out, and the look of horror and disappointment on his face, I cannot even describe. It's just, I think he lost all faith in me as a human being and as a drinker at that moment. There was a hint of pride, too, because I had always refused alcohol before that point. So at least I was trying. So he very, very diligently cleaned that up. And then I went and hung out in his room, and he gave me beer and salt or water and salt. I don't entirely remember the combination. Whatever it was, all my other friends disappeared. And by disappeared, I mean they went 1 floor up in a 2-floor dorm that had 6 people in it. So I could have found them if I put any effort in. So I went back, and I went to bed, having disgorged everything. I woke up without a hangover. I woke up probably with the best night's sleep I'd ever had, and I felt amazing. And the floor was cleaned up, and that guy was going to be a future godparent, so he didn't hate me that much, and everything was okay. So that was my first experience with alcohol. And last, because clearly I have never had a drink again, including tonight when I had between 0 and many glasses of alcohol. So that's the story of when I turned 21. I don't know if that was a story. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch this tomorrow morning to make sure I did not say anything that was going to end my writing career. I don't entirely know what I've said tonight, but hopefully it was good, hopefully it was amazing, and hopefully it will make you click that subscribe button. And if it didn't, I've either had too much alcohol tonight or not enough. I'll evaluate tomorrow morning to figure out which one it was. Thank you very much.